out with D.
and E.
And today we're going to be giving you the final episode
Finally.
of season 3 of The Kardashians. Now, spoiler alert, at the very end, they told us season 2 is coming in what, less than 2 months? So here we are, or about 2 months. So, you'll get like a 2 month break from us on this whole Kardashian episodes. Not Kardashian news, because we all know they make news every day. Anyway, so season 3, episode 10, finale. What do we think? How do we feel? Let's break it down.
All right, same format as the other episodes that we've had. We're going to break it down in sections. This episode was called What Just Happened? So I guess it's talking about something that happened at the end, and we're going to cover that. All right, so section 1, Chris is at Small Wonders Dollhouse, and Chris is looking for Christmas decorations and looking for the perfect Christmas gift. She decided to give all 6 of her kids miniature doll houses, and then they're like so cute and like custom, and I don't know. I was kind of fangirling over them. Chris says that she loves doll houses and she did one for herself. Later in the episode, we see that, this is a tradition that she's had since Robert Sr. So this is like very special to the family. Mm-hmm. Then it got a little awkward because then she's like, "Oh, I'm bidding on Betty White's dollhouse furniture." And then there's like a little bidding war where she's like 600, 800, 1200, whatever hundred. And she's like, "Well, when I'm in Milan and I heard that Betty White's dollhouse furniture was on sale. Of course I had to get it." So she was happy that she got some furniture, but she seemed like, very excited to get all her kids' doll houses, and they're very custom.
I just didn't even know. I mean, like I love the story. It was super cute, and all the different things that they had, and I mean, I've never cared for dollhouses. I've never played with dollhouses, so that wasn't my thing growing up. But I can appreciate how people have like real like love for these things, and especially when they're familial things, right? Where you like pass it down generations and stuff. And I know that in the past they've mentioned that they love dollhouses, so I thought, of course, she would give them this, and it's one of the least grandiose gifts I guess she's given them. So that was something different. But the whole Betty White thing, I was like, Jesus, that was weird. Like, lady just passed. Well, I don't know how long ago it was that she passed, but she passed, and you're here bidding for dollhouses and thinking about what kind of furniture you want to put on the dollhouse porch. It was a little weird. It was a little weird for me. Not gonna lie.
I think sometimes things just come out so like ostentatious. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, let me spend money on this random thing. Meanwhile, we're all here dealing with inflation and the Fed's raising another 0.25, but we're not going to get into finance.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the world that they live in. It is what
Right.
it is.
Right.
But I thought it was like a nice gift. I think Chris always gives like very sentimental gifts, and
Thoughtful.
the way she was very customizing each house,
Yeah.
and this should be for this person because of XYZ. So I kind of like the idea.
Yeah.
I just need Chris money to like actually go buy the house and custom do each room like that.
We all need Chris money. Whew.
I settle for Courtney's money, and we know she's probably the poorest Kardashian. But
I didn't think we were going to talk bad about Courtney today. Never mind.
I had to.
Never mind.
That's probably the meanest comment I'll say all day, okay?
About Courtney? Okay.
About Courtney. This episode is just weird. It's kind
It
of all
was.
over the place.
Yeah.
All right, so section 2, it's Kylie and Kendall and Scott together. They're going on a walk with Kylie's dogs. Like, I don't even know, whatever. Kylie is obsessed with Italian greyhounds. I guess Chris never let her have any. She has like a crap load of them now. In case you wanted to know, the names are as follows: Norman, Bambi, Harley, Rosie, Kevin, Jack, and Jill. And I don't know if they went up the hill. Kendall says that she spent a lot of time with Kylie and she really appreciates it. Um, she's known, Kendall and Kylie have known Scott since they were 7. Courtney was 27 and Scott was 22. So, they've known each other for a long, long time. And then Scott is always there for a rumor report. That's what I'm going to call him, Scott, the rumor reporter, debunking rumors. So
Yeah.
now, I didn't even know this was a rumor, but I guess it is. Rumor has it, the internet is saying that Kylie and Stas is one of Kylie's friends, they're dating. Kylie says apparently they've always made out, and this is nothing new. It's new to me. I was like, what the heck? But I don't know. They were a little, but I know, but whatever. I don't know. I didn't say nothing, but I hope y'all understood.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then Scott says, "Yeah, that's what y'all do." I'm like, "What? Like, are you looking at this? Like, too weird." Let's see. Kylie says, "Yeah, that's what a lot of best friends do." I'm like, I don't know what friends you hanging out with, but I don't do that. uh, Kylie starts to recap that the paparazzi was taking pictures of her when they were all really young. And she said that one of the paparazzi got on the floor and took a picture of like under her skirt, and she was like mortified and crying. And, basically that picture came out in the Daily Mail, and they said that the headline was Kylie with little dignity. And I mean, that's that.
Shameful. Yeah.
Um, They also said that at 16, the paparazzi asked Kendall and Kylie, "Are you a whore like your little sisters?" Or they said, "Are you a whore like your little sisters? Are you guys gonna do a blank tape like, your sister, aka Kim? You dirty little sluts." I'm like, I guess they had it kind of rough for them. And
Yeah.
then Kylie says, "I'm just so surprised that I'm such a happy person." Okay.
I would be too if I had $1 billion. Um, okay, so my first initial thoughts were, why would anybody have that many dogs? My second thought was, here we go, another Scott Fluff scene. Um, Filler, you know,
Hmm.
trying to force Kendall and Kylie to do some work here. Uh,
They did a lot of work. This is the most work they've done all season.
they showed up. Oh, it's season finale time. Let's do something real here.
Yeah.
Um, so that whole scene, I was just kind of like bleh about. But I did think about it later on, and I felt sorry for them because we know them now as these 20 something millionaires, billionaires who, live a lavish life and all this and that. But they were just girls when they were skyrocketed to fame, when Chris started marketing them as a bundle, and they had the Kendall and Kylie collection of like clothes and YA books, all these things. And I think that this was the first time that in the entire series we got something real from the both of them about their experiences, and it helped me understand why they don't share the way that their sisters do, why they kind of, stepped, I don't want to say stepped away from the limelight because we know they're always out there, but in essence, they're not as like out there in the show.
Hmm.
Um, so I felt bad for them. The fact that paparazzis were hounding them as underage girls, calling them all these names just because of who their sister was and what their sister did. And then the picture that was taken of Kylie, where like they purposely made it seem like she's doing this or that. You don't need a picture like that, sir. Kylie's out there posting whatever she wants, half naked, all naked, whatever, all the time. You don't need a picture like that. So that's like really, really messed up to have done to them as little girls, as young girls, as underage girls. So I can imagine that must have taken like a psychological toll on them and has informed, their way of viewing the industry, of viewing this life, and probably why they're not so quick to share things the way that, the older sisters are. And also makes sense why Kim and Chloe don't push them the way they push Courtney to like provide more content.
Man, I think you kind of wrapped it up. Even though I'm happy that they shared things,
Yeah,
but it's old things. I guess, we need the
yeah,
background info like any book.
right.
And I don't know. I just don't think Kendall's that
Ooh,
interesting.
was this kind of like a what do they call it in the
Precursor?
yeah, like a in the superhero movie, the origin story, and maybe
I
we get
guess
some
the
more of that.
making of Kendall and Kylie?
Maybe.
Maybe. So I do feel bad for them, but I don't know. I wasn't moved by this story, to be honest.
Mind you, it took me like a day, so I didn't get there right away. It took me a day to get there.
I just literally watched the episode, so probably hasn't like digested all the way, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's mean for 16-year-olds, to be going through stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. We'll keep it moving. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Okay.
All right. So section 3, it's Courtney, and they're at their house, and she's having a meeting with Boohoo reps. For those who don't know what Boohoo is a fast fashion brand. I'm sure probably a whole bunch of you guys buy clothes from there, or not. It's cool. Um, and Boohoo asked Courtney to be their sustainability ambassador for 2 collections. They initially got backlash, especially Courtney, and being accused of greenwashing the brand. For those who don't know what fast fashion is there's a quick turnaround. The clothes drop daily. They're priced well. It's accessible fashion trends. So, we're keeping up with the latest fashion. We know other companies like Zara, I don't know, Fashion
She,
Nova, Shein, things like that.
yeah.
Courtney says that her first collection showed how sustainable fast fashion can be. She knew that she was going to get criticism, but also wanted to create noise to bring awareness. She says that she's not a sustainability expert, but she sees herself as the vehicle to help make the change. There was a whole bunch of business talk about, I guess, the brand and Courtney thinking she knows stuff, and that's all that it is. I mean, she sought
How long did
experts.
that last?
So
Let me check. I think it lasted what? Less than 10 minutes?
I
Five,
tried. I
five
don't
and a
know. It
half.
was just obnoxious. It's like, oh, now she's busy. Now she want to creative direct everything like her sister. I'm like, get a life.
Hey,
Stick to vitamins, okay?
we're out here throwing creative director titles around like there's no tomorrow. Apparently, you be a creative director. I'll be a creative director. All of us creative direct. Like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, let's do it. Okay, at first, yes, I did want to immediately make fun of Courtney when this scene was going on because I was like, what, ma'am, this is fast fashion. How on earth do you make it sustainable? And then I wanted to laugh even more when she threw out the word vintage. And I was like,
I'm
what?
like, how can we make fast fashion? I know. I didn't even write that down because I think I was in such disbelief. I'm like, she's really sticking with this vintage vibe. Dolce Vita, guys. Dolce Vita.
Exactly. I'm surprised she didn't say a 90s collection. That never existed with Boohoo. But, I'm surprised she didn't throw that out there. Like, hey, let's make this a 90s collection. Anyway, but after I got past my desire to laugh at everything that was going on, I do think that there was some points made, about basically bringing awareness, giving Courtney's high profile about fast fashion and trying to make them accountable, the whole sustainability thing. And she did actually call them out, the very company giving her a title, calling them out for going against her wishes and re-releasing her collection when she advised not to do that, and then adding different colorways when she advised not to do that. Because again, it creates, the issue of non-sustainability that is fast fashion. So I appreciated her at very least being honest about that. And, I think the rep was trying to like kind of sugarcoat some things and, try to like make it.
Really? I didn't take that scene like that. I thought it was her being bratty that they didn't listen to her advice or her, her creative directing. They'd
No,
be
no,
like,
no.
"Hey, I said these particular colorways, which you didn't, and XYZ, which you didn't. It wasn't like you didn't make, you know, you didn't use recycled material that was like 50%, blah blah blah. It wasn't like she did speak about those kinds of things, which I think
Yeah,
that's very sustainability related, sustainable things. But then that part was you didn't follow my directions. At the end of the day, it's still a business. I understand,
yeah,
there's here, like Dolce and Gabbana, like we saw with Kim. Like they're like, no, this looks better. And then Kim was like, okay,
yeah,
give and take kind of thing. It
yeah,
wasn't like more of materials or maybe quantities, which she did mention.
yeah.
You're shooting like 10,000 items a day
Units and stuff. Yeah.
and they're bringing it down like 20%. Okay, I understand that. But other things that she said, it just sounded bratty to me.
Well, yes, you're right. Like my very, very initial instinctual thing was to think that she was being bratty. But when the rep kind of said, well, we did it because we wanted to make sure that this collection was sent over by like a boat freight or whatnot, to kind of help with the sustainability thing. I was like, oh, okay. So like, there's that effort. And then that kind of led me to think like, okay, well maybe this is what she's trying to point out. Like, what would be the reason of like I suggested don't re-release, because of course that would create more of an issue. But like the lady said, we actually only dropped a percentage of your collection because of how we, shipped it. And so the rest was still coming. So like that kind of helped me to think like, okay, she wasn't necessarily, being a brat about it, but it was just, at the very least, like I can appreciate bringing awareness to this sort of thing because fast fashion is everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. So,
Mhm.
it's something.
I wish they would have just also mentioned how expensive it is for companies. This is the business side of this company. How expensive it is for companies to be sustainable.
Yeah.
Like, in one of like my MBA classes, I took an accounting sustainability course. Yes, I'm that boring, guys. So, there's like different layers where, I don't know, for example, Walmart is trying to reach like level 3 of sustainability, which is they're being sustainable, then also their vendors being sustainable, you know,
Oh, okay.
like it's like a whole bunch of like layers. You're
Right.
making sure that their carbon emissions are low and like really holding accountable like the whole chain of
Yeah.
products. So that's like very expensive,
Hmm.
very hard to like maintain. So,
Yeah.
even though we do want a sustainable earth, it's hot as hell these days. We all know this. But, it's also very expensive for companies. Not that I'm siding with companies, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. No, and I think it's good to have like the different, understandings of what's going on because like you said, like with Courtney and her issues with them, like it is still a company, it is still a business, right? And they have to do what they have to do. I mean, they have employees that they have to pay. How do they pay them? They have to make a profit, right? Um, so there's a lot of layers to it all, and so I think that's something that doesn't often get covered. It's like not trying to both sides of an issue, but just giving well-rounded information, not just
Mhm.
like one aspect of things. So thank
Well,
you for the tidbits of info from your brain.
yeah, I can appreciate Courtney trying to bring this awareness and being the vehicle of change.
I can't deal with you.
All right, section 4, a weird ass section,
Oh gosh.
is Kylie and Stas. First, I just want to say I don't know how any of these topics relate to each other, but somehow there's a transition that I don't understand. But here it goes. So Kylie and Stas, I guess they're probably at Kylie's house. They need a martini. It's being made while they're having this combo. They're addressing the rumors about them dating. They've been friends since they were like 12 and 13. I don't think I understood that scene, or I was probably so much in disbelief. I think Kylie said, "Sure, I want to sleep with you," or "Yeah, it would be easy dating you." I don't know what that means. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Maybe I misunderstood. I just saw the episode. It's digesting as we speak. Then it transitioned into I'm changing my son's name from Wolf to Air, Aire, for those who want to know. She wants a name that means something. So Air means Lion of God in Hebrew. Wolf wasn't even on the list. Apparently, Kylie was going through postpartum, and then the name wasn't even on the list. She heard it like 24 hours before, and then the name became Wolf, and it was a whole big ordeal. But
Yeah.
she's changing the name. Then it went into Stormy and Kylie having her breast done at 19. 6 months later, she's having, she's pregnant with Stormy. So basically, she's 20, which I didn't realize she was that young when she had Stormy.
Yeah.
Um, she goes on to say that she had beautiful knockers. For those who know what knockers are, they're bosoms, the most beautiful bosoms in the world. She
Yeah.
didn't address why she did, had these enhancements. But she says that she wishes that she didn't do it and recommends people do it after they have kids. Kylie says that she would be heartbroken if Stormy had surgery at 19 or when she was just a young person, and wishes that she could not get surgery or any enhancements or whatever she's done in hindsight.
Okay, so going back to the best thing, no, besties don't make out. That's not a thing. And she did say it would be easier if she was sexually attracted to her so that they could just be together.
Because that's what it was.
Please.
Okay, I was like, I need a sound bar because I'm like, what did I just hear? And then I go back and then I hear, I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm meant to understand what just happened.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I can understand like, the whole playfulness of it and trying to like make fun of these rumors, which I had heard of before. But it's like, okay, don't overdo it. It's like it's a little bit much. Um, and then her switching to the whole thing about changing her son's name, like super random segue to that, and then other random segue to Stormy. Now, her having her, breast done at 19, I find interesting because just one episode prior, she mentioned how confident of a young lady she was. And
Which is such an oxymoron. I'm like, I don't understand how you
such.
praise yourself for all these things and being one of the most confident girls. Sorry to cut you off. And then you're saying, I haven't had surgery except fillers. And then this episode is like, well, I had my breast done. Well, obviously, puberty didn't hit you in the tits only, girl. We knew.
I mean, but I think there's more that she didn't say because she kind of made it seem like she got her body done. So either she had like a mommy makeover after Stormy, which I assume she probably did. But it's like it just to me sends like she's trying to send the right message, right? Oh wait, oh don't do it, and oh Stormy's so perfect. I would never want her to do any of these things. But okay, you're still not being fully honest about what you've done. And you and your sisters have been portraying this image to the masses, to girls Stormy's age and older, girls who've grown up watching y'all. This is the image you guys have portrayed that, oh, I need to work out 5 a.m. and have a personal trainer and do all these things to get this body. And then your videos are heavily filtered, heavily edited. You do Photoshop, you get surgeries, you have the best doctors to give you vampire facials or lasers or whatever. Great that you're able to afford that. Wonderful. But that's not the message that you guys are trying to give whenever you talk about what you've done to your body. Like, sure, it's your own business what you've done. Nobody needs to know. But then don't turn around and make it seem as though like you're not a part of the problem or you're not a big part of the problem because like you are. you just last freaking episode, right, said how you see these girls heavily editing their photos, and she would never want Stormy to feel any type of way. But I mean, if you look at some of the snaps that they post of their kids, whether it's Stormy, whether it's True, North, Chicago, any of them, you see them playing with makeup, which of course all little girls do. But not just that, they're doing like some of the same stuff that, their moms try to do, or their moms do. So they're trying to like mess with it in different ways. You see how like North has a TikTok, and her makeup stuff has kind of gone into more like an artistic kind of thing. Because we saw in one episode she was like into like the whole prosthetic kind of thing. But still, it's like there's all these things that just seem contradictory, like you said, like an oxymoron, and it's not adding up, and it keeps sending the wrong message, and it's not helpful, especially because right now they're on this whole like super skinny waist trend. And what's going to happen next? You're going to have all these, little girls who are going to want to try to be as thin as they are, because that's what they keep putting out there and
Hmm.
making it seem like
Like
it's
some kind of
natural.
eating disorder now,
Yeah.
which could be bad. Yeah, I think that Chloe is the one that's been the most kind of honest.
Yeah.
Saying that she got a nose job and whatever else. She's
Fillers and all
mentioned
that.
that she wanted, to get some breast enhancements before, but I don't think she has.
Right.
It says how she was confident, and the audience, the fans, actually made her insecure,
Right.
thus the chain of events. So
Right.
I can appreciate that. I like Chloe, thickums, skinny. I just
Yeah.
like her. I think she
Everywhere.
looks great right now. Sometimes she's looking a little frail, like she needs chicken, but
Oh,
sometimes she eats, so that's great.
yeah.
But whatever makes her comfortable. Kylie, she's just like you said, like in a little totem pole, like yes, but no, but I want to be a role model, but I still want to be, you know, I don't want to say thoughty, but I still want to
Out
do
there.
these. I want to be out there doing these certain things, portraying these images. I don't know. Her bikinis are getting smaller and smaller.
Oh my
She
God.
looks great in them.
Yeah.
That's cool. But if you're trying to also be quiet luxury over there, you're giving me too many. It's a whiplash. I'm like, do you regret it? Do you not? Are you hiding it? Are you not? You don't want Stormy to do it. So are you changing the narrative?
Yeah.
Like, are you telling people, don't even give me advice to wait till I have kids. Like, people do what you want,
Yeah.
do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
That's
Completely
it. Do it for yourself, not for anybody else.
agree.
Um, but I don't know. They're confusing. All
There.
right, section 5. We're back at Small Wonder Dollhouse, and Chris has to check the progress of these of these dollhouses. So the exterior is fantastic. They look amazing, actually.
Yeah.
The interior was a hot mess. It sucked. It was too busy. Apparently, this is a 6 month to a year project, and Chris has this vision of Christmas morning, everybody looking at the presents and the whole ambiance. So she was over there, like, looking for the,
Little pieces.
furniture.
Yeah.
She's looking for furniture for her miniature houses.
That poor woman. And I'm talking about the shop owner. Oh
Oh, the
my.
show.
Oh man. I mean, like there was a comment, that she made where she said, you can't be in people's heads or something like that. Where I was like, girl, yes, because I don't know what happened from that first scene when Chris was in there to now. Did Chris or her assistant not give instructions of what she wanted inside? Did she just say, you guys do it? Like, what? Where's the disconnect? Because if I'm paying a lot of money for something, I'm going to tell you exactly what I want. So how are you like complaining that things aren't done a certain way? Did you not tell her how you wanted them? Like, what's
Mhm.
the deal here? Because she sounded very Courtney esque, like very bratty. No, this isn't weird, and this no, and that this is just too much. This is a mess. I was like, dang, okay,
Well, if I'm paying that much for these houses, this house better be impeccable.
definitely. But did she give those instructions for the interior? Like that's what I want to know.
I think she did because she was, walking around being very like specific with certain things. I don't know if she did it with every item,
Right.
but maybe there wasn't enough like checkups and stuff, and we got the hot mess checkup, not the it's fantastic checkup.
Yeah, right. Ooh, that
Um,
was a mess. The whole scene was a
no,
mess.
that lady, I felt for her. I
Yeah,
feel for the assistant. It's like you have to go back and forth, and
I
I think
know
I think being an assistant is probably one of the hardest things
for
to be.
sure.
I would hate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to all the executive assistants.
Hmm.
Y'all real MVPs for dealing with these people.
Seriously.
All right, so section 6, it's Kim, North, and Chloe. Then we see True and Dream later on, and they're headed to the Alexandria house, which is a transition house for women and children. Um, in the car ride, North says to Kim that she knows Santa ain't real, but Kim is like, I believe in Santa because, she wants to still believe in magic. Chloe does too. They get to Alexandria House, and a lot of the ladies there share their stories, which is like very moving. I'm glad there's organizations like this. Then Chloe gives the bombest speech ever. I couldn't even write it down. I'm sure you would have killed me. It would have been like an extra 30 minutes of this episode. But it was such a great speech. She's great at it.
Yeah,
And then at the end of this scene, I guess they're like giving gifts to them, and
yeah,
we see a lot of hugging and chatter and things like that.
yeah. I appreciate when they do these sorts of scenes, because like Kim even mentioned that she's actually been going to the Alexandria house, right?
Mhm.
For a few years now. And so I like that it's not something that they've like promoted, in the past. This is just something that they do. And I love that there's places like that that help women in need, especially given during the holiday seasons how difficult things can be, and just like having people care enough to come out and support and all that, like that's awesome. And then also the example that they're giving to their children, their daughters and everything, I think that's really amazing for them to be able to see that, like, okay, it's not just all the luxury, the glam, all these different sort of high fashion events. There's more to the world than just that, and that people have these struggles and that they need help, and that their family is in a position to help. So I appreciate that. And then I did like, everything that Chloe said, um and the women that spoke and tried to like give some of their stories, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, like, so I did like that whole scene. And I thought it was just like, it was a really awesome thing that they were able to be there and to also give back.
See, my problem with these things is like two-sided. One, it seems so forced, like, oh, here comes celebrities, doing these charitable things that they don't really care about, or at least that's the perception.
Right.
Um, and I kind of don't like, I like, but I don't like. I'll say why I don't like it. I don't like, you know, I guess I don't want to say exploiting, but it's like talking, something very personal for these ladies. And, they're already going through a hard time. So now this is going to be televised to hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
I'm sure they agree to it, but it's still,
Yeah.
it's a tough situation, I
Right.
think. But at the same time, on the flip side, I do appreciate that they, expose us to these things. And, I
Mhm.
didn't know about an organization, or at this particular organization, that helps out. And,
Yeah.
at least, they're celebrities, they're helping, they're donating. Any help is help for
Yeah.
them. So I can appreciate that. But sometimes it just feels like, they're
Performative.
using people,
Yeah.
and I don't like that. But, it seemed like everybody, was okay with it.
Yeah, no, it seemed like that was an event that like the people enjoyed and whatnot. um And I know that, yeah, definitely a lot of these things can seem very performative because, they're celebs, and that's what you kind of like expect. They're just trying to get
Mhm.
their kudos or whatever. But, the fact that like they have worked with these people in the past or whatnot, and it wasn't something that was televised, I think that's kind of a good indicator that it's a genuine thing. I'm sure it's also a tax write off. Side note. So that can't hurt. But one last thing I'll say about this, and actually goes back to the beginning part of it, which was the whole Santa thing, and Kim saying how like, oh, I still want to believe in the magic of it all because sometimes I get things done and people ask me how, and I just tell them a little bit of magic, and I'm just thinking, yeah, and millions of dollars. Like that also can give you all the magic you need in the world. I'll believe in Santa if I'm a billionaire for sure, because I can make anything happen. Anyway,
I can make anything magical,
anything magic.
being a billionaire.
Heck
Which,
yeah.
for those who don't know, Skim is now valued at about $4 billion. So
Girl.
a multi-billionaire of some sorts, which is pretty admirable. I have to read more articles on it, but
Yes.
it's pretty cool.
That also means your girl Chris got more money. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. All right. Section 7. We're almost done, guys. It's very short. This is Christmas Eve at Courtney's house, and they're just basically giving us, little snippets of the party, Christmas morning. So I guess Courtney has been hosting the Christmas Eve party for a couple years, and we see Courtney, whatever we saw on Instagram, now we saw it on Hulu, basically, on
Yeah.
this episode. Then I guess they're at Kim's house, and then Kim is just like wrapping gifts, probably eating cookies, pretending like Santa's there.
Yeah.
And then you actually hear her wake up her kids, hey, it's Christmas morning, let's open the presents, which is pretty cute.
Yeah.
And then they continue to share videos of Christmas and then hanging out as a family.
Um, I didn't realize that they don't record their Christmases, like their party that they usually have. I didn't realize it until Kim said it. And so, I mean, that's good because at least they'll have like some kind of like intimate family, even though their Christmas party is usually huge, and there's usually tons of celebs. But whatever.
Probably
So
celebs don't want to be recorded. That's why.
right, so that helps also. Um, so yeah, like I thought that was interesting, and the fact that Courtney's been the one hosting the Christmas Eve party and not Kim, I think kind of shows that maybe Kim is not the head of the family, Kris Jenner. And
But remember, there was like a big argument before about it.
yeah, I briefly like remember something about it, but vaguely, honestly, not too much about
It
all
was something like they were talking about where to throw the party, where to spend Christmas morning, and Kylie was like, "Well, Santa doesn't always go to Kim's house or Courtney's house or whatever. It's like I want my kids to open gifts at my
that. That's
house, blah
fair.
blah blah." So I think they had like this arrangement, and to
Yeah.
appease Courtney and be like, "Hey, here, have the party."
Okay.
Toma.
Yeah, that's true. Something like that. I remember there was
Yeah.
this whole issue. And I know that at one point Kris Jenner did not want to give up hosting the Christmas Eve party. But anyway, so yeah, and then Kim waking up her kids and everything, like that was sweet. A very relatable moment for I'm sure lots of parents and everything. Not so relatable were the gifts that you could clearly see were ostentatious in the background.
No, they weren't.
It was
A
a whole
Tonka truck.
girl. There was tons and tons of boxes underneath that tree.
There's tons and tons of kids and nephews and nieces and parents. And
I thought those were all for her kids. If they're for all the other nieces and nephews and stuff, okay. But I thought that's for
I
all,
mean,
just for her kids. And I was like, dang.
probably. I don't know. I was trying to defend Kim. I have nothing. Continue.
um, and so that was like that was crazy. And then but it was interesting. They kind of like showed that little like kind of behind the scenes, like Christmas kind of thing. And then like did you mention about them seeing the dollhouses and everything, like their reactions to that, or is that in the next
Oh,
scene?
did I not say that? Oh yeah, Kim starts to cry when she sees her dollhouse, which I thought was like very touching.
Yeah, and then
Eh,
they play like the Robert Kardashian clip.
Yeah.
One little note about that:
Oh my gosh.
why did they only show Chris recording Kim's reaction to the dollhouse and not anybody else's reaction? Because Kylie said she cried too. But there we are, only seeing Kimberly Noel crying about the dollhouse and not her other 5 kids, because she said she was getting for all 6, but she only showed one child's reaction. That's all I'll say about that.
I mean, okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the other ones didn't make the cut. Like, I don't know.
Or Kim is still her favorite.
Or Kim has the ugliest cry, and we need this for Hulu. Her face was stiff. I'm surprised tears were falling, but I saw them.
I,
Okay.
I wish I could hide my face right now.
See, I say bad things about Kim too. Oh, Courtney.
No discrimination over here, guys.
Everybody gets to smoke. Okay. All right. So the last section, which ended on a downer, and I don't know. I guess ooh, we have some thoughts here. All
Mhm.
right. So Kim, Chloe, Chris, and Trish Trash are on Kim Air. Kim Air is Kim's private plane. Unfortunately, Tristan's mom passed away. She had a heart attack at the beginning of the year. She was only 53 years old, and she survived by her 4 kids, her 4 boys. Andrea, which is Tristan's mom, takes care of Amari, and he is disabled. So now Tristan is the guardian of her of his brother. The Kardashians are there for Tristan, and to be honest, I didn't hear any of Tristan's praises to the Kardashians being the family. I know the situation's tough, but I wasn't listening to him. My honest truth. You'll probably recap what he said.
I won't.
Uh, Chloe says that she used to speak to Andrea every day. Basically, Tristan and Amari are living with Chloe because Tristan's house, his roof, collapsed. And conveniently, they had to move in with her, even though Tristan has millions of dollars and couldn't get his own apartment. In the meantime, aren't there hotels? But neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
Then Kim and Chloe say that they had to clean Andrea's apartment, look for all the important documents, prepare Amari to be moved, plan the funeral, and things like that. So Kim is saying that that was like her first insight into like planning a funeral because she didn't plan her dad's. Um, then Kim says that it was going to be Chloe's year, to do all these things, and then all of a sudden all these things happen. Chloe says that Tristan is family, and this is what family does. You don't have to treat me right for me to treat you right. You're better than me, girl. Then Chris starts crying for Amari and says this whole situation breaks her heart. And this is how the season ends.
So, full disclaimer, I think it's so sad what happened to his mother. It's definitely, a very sad situation. And I hate that, Amari is without his mom and, the only, caretaker he's ever had, ever known. So that was just like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Full stop. End of disclaimer. Tristan can go to hell. Like, straight to hell. I give 0 F's about this man. 0. I don't care how many babies you have by him. He is trash. He is the sorriest human being in the world. And we've had already people hate on us about what we say on Kanye. And
And it's not even that bad.
it's not that bad. Like, Kanye got his issues. We know this. But there is no one worse than Tristan in this god awful family. Like, Nobody. As far as like the men, Lamar was found in a brothel, like Chloe needed to remind us this season. And he's still better than trash ass Tristan. Like, that man is just garbage. Like, the foulest smelling garbage. And for him to sit there and thank them as though they're these like guardian angel saviors of life type of thing is so hypocritical given everything he put that woman through. Everything. Not just once, not just twice, 3 times. All in public. Once with a family friend. Once fathering another child. Like, trash. He forced Chloe into labor with True. Trash. Like, I was so frustrated watching that whole scene. I completely understand her wanting to help out. She had a close relationship with Andrea. I get that. I don't think it was right for Kim to bring up the fact that they cleaned her house. Girl, stop. Like, why? Why even say that? Oh, and we needed to look for the papers and we needed. Nobody asked you to do any of that stuff. Like, that felt very like awkward to me to like put that out there. This woman just died and you're out here talking about, oh, basically her apartment was a mess and we needed to clean it up and we needed to do all these things. It's like,
Oh, I didn't take it like that.
that's
I
totally how I took it.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, what? Like, and then like it was so awkward to me. And not only that, but like given the fact that we've seen, because they post things and things are posted about them daily, so it's not on the show yet. Kim seems to have such a close relationship with Tristan now. It's disgusting to me.
It's pretty nauseating. I'm
Oh
like,
my,
what? They were just hanging out in Miami for Messi's thing.
his
Like when
debut
Yeah. I was like, what? Like
and partying at Live.
that's where they were? Live?
They went to Live. Yeah, like that was so disturbing. So going back to this scene, to the final few minutes, and the fact that like Chloe, oh, they had to move it. Girl, it don't take that long to repair a roof. I used to work for a roofing company years and years ago. That that whole thing can be done in a day, ma'am. In a day. They don't need to be living in your house. Hotels have handicap available rooms. Like, there's a plethora of things that could have been done. But for them to just kind of make it seem as though like, no, he had to move in and take Amari with him and this and that. It's just sickening because it's like I get that Chloe's a good woman. She seems like she's a good woman when it comes to the men in her life. She seems to be a very good woman, and that's great and all. And you will be blessed one of these days with the right kind of man in your life. I'm sure of it. But you continue to have trash in your life like that, you will continue to attract trash. Like, isn't that like one of the scientific laws out there? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But I'm gonna end my rant before I say something that'll just get me in so much trouble.
Say it. Say it.
No, your
Okay.
turn.
My turn. I think you summed it up for all of us and all of America. Maybe overseas too. I mean, Tristan is not my favorite person. I think I don't know. I I don't know. It's not like, you know, I, Scott did this too. They just accept these men because maybe it's for the kids, maybe it's because of the fame at this point, because they need them, like they're associated now, they keep their circle tight. Uh I get that Chloe's trying to help Tristan because that's the father of her kids, but this is not a man that doesn't have resources. You
Right.
can go rent a house. You have people to do these things for you in like a day. Like,
Right.
I just feel like Tristan is using every opportunity to use Chloe, to get back with Chloe, to stay in her life, invade her space, as we see like he's trying to sit next to her and she shimmies and they shimmy and it's awkward for a couple seconds
So
kind of
awkward.
thing. Like, it's at this point I feel like it's not fair that he's doing this to her,
Yeah.
I'm sure that she still loves him, like for real, for real.
Yeah.
So he's not allowing her to kind of like move on and, let this be a for real co parenting relationship. You're here
Yeah.
trying to get with me is not helping me.
Right.
And I think he's being selfish with it, with that whole situation. And he's using
Yeah.
his brother, you know, with with
No.
Andrea being the sole guardian of him before, like that whole situation, like it breaks my heart, it'll break her heart, so I just feel like Chloe's just taking care of everybody, and I'm not
I
sure how
know.
she's. I'm gonna sound like Courtney, like how's her mental health, like what's driving her, kind of thing, like.
No, she did it.
No, but for real, like I don't understand, like I feel like she's just gonna combust at some point. Like I don't know. Maybe she's in a great space, but I'm getting the vibe or the feeling that this is not sustainable. Tristan
People
is rocking
do
my
it.
nerves. It's not letting my girl move on. This was gonna be her year, like Kim said. Like finally, I'm over this crap, and then now this. It's like at some point, a
Yeah.
girl's gonna snap. And for those who've seen that show Snap, comment below and say, yeah, them women were crazy. We all watched it. Y'all know.
It's so great. Listen, like, okay, my whole thing is maybe Tristan can't afford it because he's got so much child support to pay. Let's not forget he's got other kids. Maybe he can't afford it because he's been a trash ass player and it's not like he's gotten paid a lot by the NBA teams he's been a part of. Who knows? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe that's why Chloe has such a huge heart and is trying to help him out. But one thing that I have learned from this season, I finally understand Courtney and everything that she went through with Scott, and the fact that her family kept him around, and the fact that they kept trying to push her back to him despite the things he had done to her. There's a reason that Robert Kardashian and Kris Jenner divorced. There's a reason Kris Jenner and then Bruce Jenner divorced. There's a reason she hasn't committed to Corey Gamble. I think there's a reason for all of this, and it stems back to Kris Jenner and the fact that she's had some crappy relationships and she's allowed certain things to go on in her life, and now her daughters are following suit because Courtney might have been the only one who was trying to break the cycle. And here they were trying to push her back into Scott's arms when she wanted better. She knew she deserved better. She finally got better. Like seeing the way that Kim and Kris and all them interact with Tristan now, it's like, how could Kim really say, "Oh, I thought this was gonna be your year," blah blah blah, when you're out here partying with him? What if this whole tragedy hadn't happened and he hadn't had to move in, but you're still there hanging out with him? Like I get Chloe absolutely has to be involved with him as far as co-parenting, but it doesn't need to go beyond that. But here is my family and Kim, who's like her bestie now, hanging out with him all the time. Like that's awkward. And I don't know if it's just that they don't say that to one another or what the deal is, but like that's very toxic and not very healthy of a family dynamic to be able to like kind of continue to allow these trash ass men to dog them as much as they do, not just privately but publicly. And then like, oh, it's okay, they're family. We'll forgive them because it's family. Like it's in a Fast and Furious movie, bro. Like this is real life. Your kids are gonna grow up. They're gonna learn the things that these people did, and they're either gonna repeat the same cycle that you did, their grandmother did, or they're gonna finally break it the way that Courtney did. But either way, it's like it's so sad now looking back at everything Courtney was put through and seeing Chloe kind of willingly go into this whole situation in the opposite direction of what Courtney did. And then still embracing Tristan the way that they embraced Scott. Like, I don't know. I don't care for it. And I guess it also it's like a weird thing. I don't know if you like think about it. Like Lamar, he had family issues. They tried to like adopt him. Kanye, he lost his mom. They tried to like adopt him. Scott lost both of his parents. They tried to like adopt him. Tristan lost his mom now. And I saw that it was Amari's birthday. I don't know if it was yesterday or today. And Chris wrote a post, and at the end of it, she put Lovey. Lovey is what her grandkids call her. Why are you putting that for Amari? Like, why do they do this with like all the men in their lives, right? Like, it just seems so weird. And whatever, to each their own. Family dynamic, whatever they want to do. But like, it's such a crappy example to be setting for their children.
Whoa. Well, this could also stem from probably them. They always talk about how Chris did such a good job and like Robert Sr. did a good job with like co-parenting and getting along with Bruce, now Caitlin, and they had this whole Brady Bunch mixed family together. So I think them trying to maintain those relationships with the baby daddies, ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, whatever, they're trying to do the same thing, like emulate like that vibe, but it's not working. I think, I was rooting in the beginning. I'm like, you know what? I finally accepted that Courtney married Trav. I was kind of hoping that she got with Scott, but I understand why she's not with him. Scott seems like he's changed now, but Courtney had enough. I
Yeah.
don't think Chloe's in that space yet, that she's
Right.
had enough. Courtney, it's been what, decades? Not decades, but more than a decade with
Yeah.
that whole Scott saga and
Yeah.
dating and finally finding Travis. So I think just Courtney's not there yet. I mean,
Chloe.
Chloe's not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't compare them. They're in two different spaces right now, you know.
Fine. Fine. The Tristan's still trash.
Yeah, he's not my favorite human being.
Nope.
Not at all. But guys, I think that wraps up today's video. Let us know what you thought about this whole season, this season finale in the comments. What do you think about Tristan? I'm curious because I don't know. Are we the only ones that are Trish trash haters? Like he ain't ish. He's not even paying child support. He's never even visited like his other kid from what is her name? Nichols.
Mariam, something Nichols, Marianne, something Nichols. Yeah.
He's just like fixated on Chloe and like leave her alone. She's trying to move on. Like,
I
gosh, I don't
know.
know. I think he's just using her and trying to manipulate her, and I
Yeah.
sometimes it seems like Chloe is in a great space, and then sometimes I feel like she's not. And I
Yeah.
think this is like one of those soft spots for her, and it's hard to like get out, get back in, get out, it's always
Yeah.
one of those things. We've all dealt with something like that in the past. But
Yeah.
let us know in the comments, what did you think about these doll houses? What did you think about Courtney, Dolce Gabbana, Kim, creative
Boo.
director, Boohoo, sustainability partner, ambassador? I guess everything that happened this season. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. We have like about 61 followers now. Hey, I'm celebrating. We're celebrating here. We're
Heck
almost to
yeah.
100, which means we're almost to 500, which is our initial goal. So we would really appreciate you subscribing, telling your friends we're funny. We might say outlandish things. We mean it. We don't mean it. We mean it. That's how
Yeah.
we roll,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Hmm.
But like Dee said, the next season is in 2 months exactly, September 28th. So we'll be
Yes.
recapping these episodes, obviously, because we love them and we hate them.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
All right, guys, till next season. But check out our other videos. We're always posting almost every day. So see you later.
Bye.
Peace.